Party people! Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I'm joined by Aaron Lim for a playthrough of his game, Ithaca in the Cards. Ithaca in the Cards is a GM-less, GM-like collaborative story game for 2 to 5 players in which you use a deck of playing cards to tell the story of a group of travelers on a perilous journey trying to make their way home. The goal of the game is to make it back safely, and along the journey you will encounter challenges using a blackjack-driven card system and reflect on what drives you on your journey back home. Not all of you may make it, but you will tell the story together, create this adventure and this journey through perilous terrain, and learn a little bit something about your characters on the way. I love this game a lot like Aaron's other games. I'm a big fan of Aaron and his work, but this game in particular, I love it. It's quick, it's evocative, it is full of these prompts that really spark your imagination and build these really evocative scenes. It's just very, very cool. I love it a lot. You can find more information about Ithaca in the Cards at Aaron Lime, that's EHRONLIME.itch.io, or you can check the show notes for more information. Now, before we dive in, I do want to call out that Aaron is kickstarting a brand new game called Spectres of Brocken at the time of this episode's release. Spectres of Brocken is a role-playing game about making friends and then years later going to war against them in giant mechs. You make up some young, naive, messy trainee mech pilots, find out who you are to each other, find out what you want in the world, and then years later, you run into each other on the field of battle, each in your own fearsome custom mech. You find out who you've become, you find out what you've done to get there, and you find out what costs you would pay to get what you want in the world. Now, like I said, I am a huge fan of Aaron as a designer. He makes a lot of games that I think are just beyond cool and beautifully written and fun to play, and really Spectres of Brocken looks like it's going to be no exception. I have been following the development of the game for a while on Aaron's newsletter, which I will also link in the show notes because it's a very good newsletter. And the game just seems beautiful and cool and rich, and I would really love it if you check it out. You can find a link to the Spectres of Brocken Kickstarter in the show notes. And I think with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I am so excited to be sitting down with Aaron Lim. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
You're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited to have you on the show. I'm excited for the game today. And I'm excited to play a game with you. I think this is going to be lovely. You are a person who I enjoy. You are a designer whose work I really like, and I could not be more excited about the episode today.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
So, at the top of the show, before we dive into our game, why don't you let our lovely listeners at home know about what we are playing this week, as well as anything else you've got going on that you might want them to know about.
Yeah, cool. We'll be playing Ithaca in the Cards this week, which is a blackjack-driven story game about fellow travelers on a perilous journey home. And we are actually playing a slightly different version than the version you can get on my itch page at Aaron Lime, EHRONLIME.itch.io. Because I'm doing an update. I originally was planning to just do a small supplement similar to Branching Streams, which I did for An Altogether Different River and another game of mine. But after playtesting, I think this is just going to be a straight up second edition. So if you already have the game, it's been in a few bundles. Don't worry. I'll just release this as a update to the existing game. So that will be coming out when it's done. I don't have a firm timeline on that. I'm trying to make sure I get the original layout artist whenever she's free to be able to update the files and also finish a bit of playtesting and a bit more. I'm hoping to add a solo mode to the game. So that part of it I'm still working on. But the main thing here is there's some updates to the prompts and to the some of the way the game runs, which is why if you have the game, if you go on itch and check it out after we're done, the version that's up on there will be slightly different than what we play today. Because Jeff, you're going to be one of the first few to play the new version.
I can't tell you how excited I am about that fact. I could not be more excited to be one of the first people to get to play this game. That is an honor that I deeply appreciate. And on that note, why don't we go ahead and dive in? Because we are going to make some characters. We are going to embark on a dangerous journey, and we're going to see how that journey plays out.
Yeah, cool. To start off, actually, we'll actually set the setting of the quest and the journey that we're on, right? Just to kind of like, have a feel for what kind of like genre and tone we'll be playing in before we create the characters. So to do that, there are a few options. I'll just draw a card to see what we get.
Yeah, great.
Hearts. So, the options for hearts are ascending the underworld, pursuit through the desert, or unnatural terrain.
These are good options.
So once we pick one, then we'll decide why we left home on the quest, how that quest ended, and then why the journey back is dangerous.
I keep coming back to unnatural terrain. Something just like a weird... I'm seeing weird, like, brush life is the best way to describe it. I'm seeing weird, like bushes and trees that are, like, a little too twisty and kind of, like, miscolored. Sort of, like, weird and inky purple colored, like, plant life.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I'm getting. Is there a vibe that you want to throw in to add to that?
So you mentioned brush life, right? Just now. And that made me think of like what you were saying, like inky and like brush strokes on like paintings and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what if we went into a painting?
Oh, fuck. That's sick. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, like, I love that, because, like, that's supremely... That's very cool. I'm immediately very into this.
I know there's a thing called the Painted World in Dark Souls, I think. And I've never played Dark Souls. I've only heard the name from my friend playing it. And so I've allowed myself to imagine what that means.
I like that. See, and so I had an idea for, like, why we left home. I don't know. I'm just going to throw out the thing that immediately popped kind of into my head for a little bit of why we left home and a little bit of quest ended, and we can kind of build on that. You can throw it aside and throw another thing in here, but, like, the thing that immediately jumped into my head, I pictured, like, because the second I thought of, like, paintings, I thought of art thieves, and I thought of, like, art thieves jumping into a painting, and, like, the idea of doing some kind of, like, plane skipping art heist that has gone extremely badly, and that's why our journey, like, that's where we're at the start of things, is extremely compelling to me.
But it's funny, right? If you enter the painting, what you're stealing is not necessarily another painting, right? It's something that exists in the painting.
What if it's a different painting?
Right.
Like we have this ability, whether it's a superpower or it's magic or it's a piece of technology that, like, puts us into this painting, and we are using it to, like, steal. I think that we're using it to steal, like, we've grabbed something else from this, like, art museum or history museum or wherever we are. We've grabbed something and we, like, jumped into a painting and something has gone wrong.
How about this? What if when we enter a painting, right? It allows us to enter, like, the gestalt consciousness of the painter, so that we can end up in a different painting, as long as by the same artist.
That's so sick. That's so rad. Is the thing.
So you would buy, like, one cheap, relatively cheap painting by a famous artist, and then use that to, like, go to, like, the more expensive pieces and steal them
that's
back through the painting.
Good.
Yeah.
That's really good, is the thing. And I think, so I'm going to throw this to you and ask, like, how has this gone wrong? Or how has the quest ended? Like, where are we right now that we're about to make our journey back?
I think someone in the crew. So I know we're playing just the two of us, right? But there will. I'm imagining we have a bigger crew, right? Like I think there's probably like 6. Maybe literally Ocean's 11, right? There's 11 of us.
There's 11 of us. Yep. I love it.
But now there's only 9, say, because 2 of them betrayed us and took the painting elsewhere.
I love that, and I think that what if we really take that further and we are the last 2, of the gang, like the thing has gone as wrong as it can go, where like 2 people betrayed us, 3 more people have been nabbed and are in the back of like police vans. Like 2 of us are 2 people are injured or dead, 1 is missing, and it's just like the 2 of us are left, and we are just like, we're getting the hell out of here. We are exiting this space in one piece.
So I'll just make a note on that, just because like some of the prompts here make reference to there being people other than us on the journey home. So we could like end up meeting back up. Like it might start with just the 2 of us, and like we have to try and like regroup with like some of the other.
I really like that.
Like it's like the heist has gone wrong. Everyone is like in the wind, and then before we can get home, we need to like collect as many people as we can before we can exit, right?
Yeah, I love that, and I love the putting the twist on it of they aren't, everybody else isn't either dead, captured, or whatever. They are just question mark.
Yeah,
like we know 2 people betrayed us. But as far as the other 7, like we don't know. We just lost all contact because it kind of turned into a scatter. That's very good.
Yeah, I think I think there's something weird as well, right? Like I think this wasn't supposed to happen. Like when the betrayal happened, like we are meant to stick together because like I think it's safe. It's not safe for us to exit alone, right?
Yeah.
So whatever process we use to get into the painted world, it's safer if we exit together. And so potentially like there was something that went wrong that scattered everyone, and this wasn't supposed to happen.
That's really good. Yeah, that's really, really good.
Right. So now that we have that set up, we should create our characters. So the first thing that I'll do this outside of Roll20 just because I don't know how to set up like separate decks in that way. Actually, I think now that I think about it, I think I know how to do it, but I didn't. So I just have a set of.
All good. I got a deck of cards here in front of me. All good. I'm grabbing the face cards out of here. Is that right?
Just grab a random face card to create your character.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna shuffle this deck and just pull till I get the first face card that comes up, and that'll be the card that I go with. The card that I've drawn is the King of Diamonds.
Nice. So we're going to look at the new prompts for this. So the King of Diamonds is the prophet, one who witnesses.
Okay. All right. Something is coming together then. Yeah. Something is coming together.
I've drawn the Jack of Spades, which is the rebel, one who opposes, which is very funny in a heist crew.
That is very funny in a heist crew. Yeah. I mean, like, you gotta have a wild card. You gotta have a brains, a muscle, and a wild card, and the wild card's there to cut the brakes.
Yeah. Right. So this isn't the only aspect that we have as a character. So what I'm going to do is back in the Roll20, I will draw 3 cards for each of us.
Okay.
And those will be our assets.
Got it.
So I'm just going to put them on the table. So I'll take the one on the left here.
Okay. Yeah, that works. So the 8. So we'll go back and forth like one by one through our assets. I can go first. I have the 8 of clubs, and the 8 of clubs. I'm looking at the new prompts here. The 8 of clubs, a silver tongue that can get someone to act against their own interests.
Very good for a heist crew.
Immediately, a character is coming together in my head that is admittedly informed by the last heist movie that I watched, and I'm not the most proud of it, but I'm gonna lean into it very, very heavily.
I drew a 6 of spades, which is a coin of incredibly specific value.
I love that. That's so good. The 6 of hearts, An important letter kept close to your heart.
I have the 10 of clubs, which is a miracle of the stars marked on your body.
Hey, Aaron, these prompts kick ass. I made a reaction that I needed to translate into words, and the best way I can say it is to say, these kick ass.
Thanks.
All right. I have the 7 of clubs, which is keen perception and awareness of your surroundings.
Mm-hmm. And my final one is the 6 of clubs, which is speed and reflexes that have kept you ahead. So yeah, there's a mix of assets that are very obvious, and there are ones that allow a bit more interpretation.
I love that. That's so good.
So based on your 3 assets, so assets are things that you have or you've developed, right? Like skills you've developed that form your character. Assets are things that you might lose on the journey home. So whatever whatever you decide to be an asset, be prepared to lose it if things go badly.
Yeah. That feels good. So I know my character immediately. So if we are ready, if there's anything else that we got to draw on, let me know. But otherwise, I can introduce my character immediately.
I'm just gonna recall those cards, because we reused them. But I think that's pretty much it for the prompts for character creation. Like in addition to like the assets and the role, please also describe what you look like, what stylish attire you're in as a art thief, and the name. Yeah.
So I can introduce my character immediately. Everything came together. Everything for this character came together, including the heist movie that I watched literally last night, which was the film Now You See Me from 2013, the magician heist movie.
Nice.
And all of my things have come together. I think that I am playing. I'm trying to think of a good last name for this character. I'm just going to go Jones. I am playing Bracer Jones. Bracer is a cold reader. Like, Bracer's specialty is cold reading and is, like, observational, like, scamming, being the prophet, the person that observes, as well as having keen perception and a silver tongue. I think that I am a master of... I am a master of... like fake psychic is the fake psychic readings is the best way to describe it. And he wears I've had bow ties on the brain today, so I think he wears like a suit and bow tie. I think he is like obnoxiously proper is how I would describe it. I think it is like a brown pinstriped suit with a bright, like with a red shirt and a bright white bow tie. Which is an outfit that Bracer wears that Jeff Stormer has not owned and worn on many occasions. I need this noted on microphone. If you have photos of me wearing this outfit, no, you don't.
Cool.
So introduce me to your character.
Right. So I will be playing Shay Descartes. I think having the miracle of the stars marked on my body makes it very easy to think of like my role in this weird art heist.
Yep.
I think I have a part of the portal like marked on myself. Right.
That's so free. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool as hell.
Yeah. And like I think I'm a literal like sorcerer maybe like I'm leaning into like this is like magical shit, right? This is like art magic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This is art magic.
Yeah. Like there are sigils that are marked like on my back and my arms. But I'm not the only. It's not like if we lose this we can't ever get out again. My brother is also on this team, right? And the coin of incredibly specific value that I have is the other half of like my brother's coin, and the two of us are like kind of like the one of the keys to like reopening the portal to get back out. I don't really know how to do it by myself. I think we need the two of us to like get together to like do this usually. I'm the rebel because like I think my brother is the one who got me into this life of crime. I do not want to be here. I'm usually the dissenting opinion and like how and why we do this. But even though I say that, I'm really good at like pickpocketing. Like I'm using the speed and reflexes to reflect my skill at like sleight of hand.
That's great.
Yeah. Rather than like physical, like being fast or something, right? My hands are fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So sorry. I should mention she her pronouns. And I think I'm gonna go with like the vest and tie look.
Love it.
To keep with that.
Love it.
Classy kind of thing. A very sharp pantsuit. But just a vest, right? Like so.
Yeah.
So a crisp white shirt. I think like a burgundy vest. And a black tie, right? Like classic.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I think fully clashing with Shay, I think Bracer loves this life. I think that like he is a con artist by trade. He I don't know if we can kind of find out in play if he was the one that like organized the gang or not, but I think that at the very least he is what I would describe as gleefully in this life. Like he is enjoying the ride for all that it is.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
All right. So what is our next step?
Right. So I think we should just jump into it.
Let's do it.
We can get into the first challenge. I'm gonna draw a card for Fate's challenge. That's a 5 of diamonds. So at the start of every turn, the first thing you do is we draw a challenge, and I will be playing the role of Fate for this round, which means I will be describing what that challenge is, and why that is stopping us or hindering us from reaching home.
I love that. That's great.
The thing to remember with challenges is the first few challenges, no matter what, you're gonna succeed, right? Like you're gonna continue on your journey. The only way to get stopped on your journey is if you lose all your assets, which happens if you lose a challenge, or if you die. So this game is blackjack essentially. So later on when you draw cards, if you ever have more than a sum of 21 in your cards, you are lost or dead. Which means like in the early game when you're just drawing, you're drawing 4s and 5s, you're not going to hit 21, right? Which means you have 3 assets to burn. So you are going to survive the challenge no matter what for the first few challenges. But just because you survive the challenge doesn't mean you don't lose anything to it. It's possible to lose an asset when you face a challenge. So no matter what, we will overcome this challenge together as a team, but we might lose something in the process.
Love it.
Right. So I'm going to look up what a 5 of diamonds is. 5 of diamonds. Pretty easy.
Feels good for a first. Like this feels good for where we are when the journey starts.
Yeah. You get turned around and become lost for a spell. So I think this is just in the immediate confusion, right? Everyone is missing. Everyone else is missing. We've just been betrayed, and that betrayal is fresh in our mind. So we don't have the painting that we came here for as well, right? So we just have ourselves and our wits with us. And I think in the process of like whatever weirdness happened during the betrayal, like we get sent to some place that we don't recognize as well.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. That's really great.
I think we as the players know that we are lost in a sketchbook, right?
Oh,
like,
that's sick.
like rather than being sent to another painting, we get sent to like the lost sketchbook of this artist.
That's sick. That's so cool.
You know what? Let's just make it like fucking obvious, right? We were here to steal the Mona Lisa, right? So
Yeah,
we're in Da Vinci's sketchbooks.
One of his million sketchbooks of weird flying machines.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
And we are just, and like, we're lost in this space that is all like half-formed landscapes and bodyscapes and weird mechanical schematics. And like, you know, I think that like adding to that, there is a sense of, you had mentioned that like you and your that Shay and her brother are the like the key to this.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you're like, it's, I think having the key together is the thing that like allows us to kind of like not just dictate where we're going, but like ground us to kind of like give us that sort of like that sort of knowledge that like bleeds into your head of like, oh yes, we are in Da Vinci's sketchbook. Like this is where we are and how the world operates. Having the two of you separate, like, is like bizarre. Like it we've lost that grounding element.
I think Shay doesn't even really know Da Vinci that well, right? She is a reluctant art thief, right? So she's as confused as anyone. Is like, why are there just like disembodied like arms, right? Like Da Vinci's studies of like just anatomical studies are here, and I think the sketchiness of our surroundings like reflect like the sketchiness of our like a short-term memory as well, right?
Oh, that's
like,
cool. Yeah, that's great.
Like we don't even, I like the idea that we don't even know who betrayed us, right? Like we forgot. We just know we have to regroup and like get out. And we know that a betrayal happened, but like I don't remember who did it. Everything is just like confusing.
Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah, and so I think
great.
what we as we are this lost, the challenge we're trying to overcome is like trying to find a way back, like maybe like trying to find a way back to a more solid painting, right?
Yeah. I think that's what we're going for.
Right. So I'm gonna draw a card to see how I deal with this challenge.
Okay.
I drew a 7 of diamonds, which means I do pretty well. I don't lose an asset. I'll wait until we both draw a card before we kind of like solidify like what happens.
All right. I will also draw a card. I have drawn the 7 of clubs. Mm-hmm. So we both do pretty well. We've got it. We're able to figure this out. We don't lose any assets. What do we think this looks like?
Yeah. So once you have drawn your cards, then you can look to one of your like choose one of your assets and like figure out how that kind of like helps you in overcoming this challenge. I think I'm going to rely on the coin, right? I think I'm going to rely on the coin to like lead me towards where my brother is.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that the asset that I'm relying on is my keen perception of the world around me. I think that like as we are kind of wandering this space, I think even if I don't know like where we are, the rules of the place, like I've got my eye, like I'm always watching my peripherals, and I think I kind of maybe leaning into the first idea that popped into my head. Though we're leaning into the fun. I probably as you're kind of like following the trail to like your brother, and we can decide if your brother is here in the sketchbook or if we're still like if we have to like jump out of the sketchbooks to get to him, but like. I think what I do to help is I spot nearby that there's just all these arms kind of grabbing at us, these like half-formed arm sketches, and I kind of noticed that not far off from them is like a sketch of a gyrocopter. I'm like, hop on, I'm getting us a ride.
Nice. I like the idea that we do find my brother, right? Like, but he's as confused as us.
I like that. I really like that.
You know what? I just realized we're doing Take On Me.
Yep, this is full on. Some guys show up with wrenches, and we kind of have a wrench fight with them. This is admittedly exactly Take On Me, and I'm gonna say this. I love it with all of my heart. Right. But yeah, I think I find us. I think like maybe I find us a flying machine, and like on the flying machine, you're able to like, use the coin to like tell us where to like steer this thing, or like pedal it, because I imagine it's one of those like pedal gyrocopter things that Da Vinci drew, and like steers us towards where your brother is.
Great. Yeah, I think we'll hold off on revealing like the next location until you reveal the next challenge, Jeff.
All right. Yeah, then I will do that.
On our journey, there's one last step to a turn, which is the reflection step. So, based on based on the challenge that we've faced and overcome, we will share a reflection, of things that we're thinking of as we try to make our way home, and we read that from the same a card as the challenge. So this is actually the same card. So 5 of diamonds was the challenge. So we're reading 5 of diamonds for the reflection prompt as well, which is the one place you feel most comfortable and at home at.
Oh, that's a great question.
I think this is in the moments before finding my brother, right? Like, I think Shay, I think Shay is like scared and confused, and goes to Bracer and like, kind of like almost accusingly is like, look, I never wanted this life, right? And like now we might be like stuck in this place forever, and this is horrible, and I just want to go home. I never needed any of this. I don't know what you and the rest of the gang are chasing for, but like, don't we have enough? And like, she's remembering like the hideout, right?
Yep.
That we share. There's like various tools and I don't know, reagents for spells and stuff. And like, like dusty, like dust cloths covering paintings that we've already stolen that we have yet to like fence.
Yep.
But there's also like, it's not just a place of work, right? Like she hangs out and like plays cards like with the others. There's like a running a running pool or like a league of some sort. Maybe like we have a Mario Kart league or something.
That's great. I think there's definitely also a foosball table.
Yeah.
Like, it's there. I think as you're talking about this, I think that Bracer is like dead-eyed forward, like no, like doesn't actually like look in your direction, and is just like, we're gonna be home safe soon. You don't gotta worry about a thing. Like, this is not where I want to be at this moment, but I'm giving you my word, we're gonna get home in one piece. And I think that like we kind of zoom in on his face and like pan around, and the sketchbook kind of fades away and is specifically, I think it's at we're pulling on the thing that popped into my mind, and this is maybe Jeff Stormer bleeding into Bracer Jones, but I think it like pans over to like a boardwalk arcade. It pans over to like the boardwalk, and like there's an arcade and a casino, and like it is him walking around and like shaking hands. And like, like it is I think that we kind of see him playing pinball in an arcade, like very kind of simple, a little bit adolescent, a little bit maybe immature, but like it's this sense, it is this place of sort of jovial play. It is this place of like pure play that I think is like the place that he feels comfortable and at home at, is where there is noise and people and lights and music, and he's like, all I want is to get enough money where I can spend my days at this boardwalk and not look back.
And I think Shay responds with like, I think that there's a pinball table at the hideout as well, right? And she knows that like Bracer has like high score on it, and she's been trying to compete as well. I think what she tries to tell Bracer is like, look, like I understand, but like, don't you already have enough? Like, isn't what we have enough? Like, we if we keep chasing these big scores, you put all of that at risk. I just want to like, hang out, like, and if y'all want to keep doing this, like keep a low profile. I just want like my brother to be safe and all of us to like, have a comfortable life. It doesn't have to be a good life, just a comfortable one.
I think this is the moment where he kind of looks at you and he's like, well, then maybe this is the last one. Like, you know what? Like, maybe after this one, we all disappear when we go our separate ways, or maybe we spend our days hanging out at the hangout. But like, the important thing, we can make that decision in the hideout. The important thing right now is getting out of whatever the hell this is.
Right. Focus on the job at hand.
Yeah. Once we're home safe, then we can have all of the big picture, what comes next conversations we want. But we got to get home safe first, and we got to get you, and we got to get your brother, and we got to get this gateway back together, and we got to get the rest of the gang, and then we got to get out of here and not die. When all of those things happen, then we'll be fine.
Right. So I turn it over to you then for the next challenge.
I drew the 7 of Hearts. So does the sum of the challenge stack is the 2 cards put together, so our challenge is now a 12, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Got it. Okay, and a 7 of Hearts. The challenge in question is a key member of the group temporarily leaves due to a disagreement. This feels like a good beat.
Mm-hmm.
I think we find your brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he comes with us right away. And I think that we are chasing after him, because I think that we find him and he is dead set on like finding the other member. He's so focused on finding the other members of the group that like I think there is a disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe that this feels like it might be Bracer's. This could be Bracer's fault. It could be Shay's fault. It could be up in the air, but I think there's a disagreement on whether the priority is getting out of this painting or getting the rest of the gang before they get into danger.
Right.
And I think your brother makes the decision of like, we're not leaving anyone behind.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of have to chase after him.
Can I make a small adjustment to that?
Yeah, please.
He's angry.
Ooh.
Right? It's not just about finding everyone else and getting out together. Like that's what he says, but like the underlying, like, there's an anger when he says that, because he wants to know who betrayed the group and like caused this problem. Right? Because we were so tight knit. Like he's not wanting to like collect everyone just to keep us safe. That's one part of it. He wants to find out who put us in this danger in the first place.
I love that. I really, really. So I want to throw out a big proposal. A world building detail. How do you feel about your brother being a person that like the head of the gang and the person that like organized the rest of the heist crew?
Yeah.
Because that feels like the position that he would be in, right? Like, I put together this gang. This is my operation, and somebody just betrayed, like, not just us, but me. I have to figure out who did it, and I have to deal out justice for my team. And we're just like, no, we have to get out of here.
Yeah. Like, I have a big fight with him over, like it's kind of like echoes the argument I had with you, right? Yep. It's like, look, we found each other. Let's just like get out and then like figure out how to like come back in and save them later, right?
Not until we find the group, and not until we find out who did this to us.
Yeah. I think we need to give a name to my brother. How about Kieran?
Kieran is good. Is good.
Yeah. Just noting that down.
So that's the challenge. So let's find out how we did. I'm going to draw a card. So I've drawn the 3 of clubs, which is under the challenge total. Ooh. So I may have to sacrifice an asset here. I'm trying to decide which asset I want to sacrifice to get through this. I think I'm looking at my 3 assets. I think I'm sacrificing keen perception here. And I think that the way that what that looks like is that I'm getting flustered.
Mhm.
I was clean and focused and like had my eye on the plan. And you and I, like Shay and Bracer had the conversation, and Bracer was like, I'm locked in, I've got my mission, I've got my objective, we're getting out of here.
Mhm.
I think that like holding on to the lie that it was going to be that straightforward was what was keeping him together.
Mhm.
And now he's just like, no, we're getting the fuck out. Like he's lost that ability to like keep his eyes on his peripheries because he's so angry and focused on what's in front of him.
Mhm. Right.
And so how did you do?
I did okay. I drew a 6 of hearts, which puts me at 13, which puts me over the challenge.
Okay.
So I don't lose an asset here. And my pitch is that we end up following Kieran, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think I'm just relying on on the whatever magic is like the sigils that are marked on me, right? And I turn to like Bracer and like, look, I don't like this. I think it's better if we stick together, like keep our resources together, right? And as Kieran kind of like disappears into like the next painting, I think the sigils on my arms like activate and like just point, like we know exactly where he's gone, right?
Yeah.
So it's trivial to like follow him now.
That's great. I love that. That's so good. That's wonderful.
So we have a shared reflection as we travel following Kieran. This is a good one. 7 of hearts. Do you want to read it out?
Words unsaid that you've carried with you for a long time. That's real good. I think I know what mine are.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you my scene if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that like I think when we get to Kieran, we have this argument of like we have to get out of here, we have to find the crew. I think that we have the argument, and I think that finally like breaking his facade of being cool and collected and like tying into like giving up that keen perception. I think Bracer finally admits like, no, you don't get it. I'm scared. I am scared. I want this to be the last job, and I don't want to die in some weird painting in some weird sketchbook. Like I am terrified. I don't want to be doing this anymore. I want to just live out my days on a crappy boardwalk playing crappy pinball. And I think like he just unloads all of this to be like, we have to focus on getting our people and getting out, because like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. I think Shay kind of like was backing you up here, right? And like one of the big disagreements is that like Kieran expected Shay to like agree with him. And I think the words, I think the word, instead of words unsaid, right? I think we are coming out with like the stuff, right? I think Shay resents Kieran like for how he runs the operations, right? For how much he pushes, and like how much he pushes Bracer as well, right? And like in the moment where like Shay realizes that like Bracer is not that, like they have more in common, right? In wanting like a simpler life, and like Kieran is the one who keeps pushing and pushing, and like the same like resentment and anger that he shows is something that like isn't new, right?
Yeah.
That like he has a chip on his shoulder against like the whole world for some reason, so like I think in that argument before that leads to Kieran and Shay like depart, like leaving on like bad terms here. I think that's it, right? Like when Kieran leaves, it's like, oh, you two cowards are like abandoning everyone else, right? Like that's what he says, but we know that's not like the only, that's not the whole truth. And I throw it in his face, right? Like that, yeah, you don't really care about everyone. All you care about is like getting your, like we've always just been doing what you wanted, and like at what cost? Yeah.
I love that. That's great. That's amazing. I'm so that's good.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Give us our next challenge, I think.
Before we get to the next challenge, I want to remind you there is a thing that you can do now that you are kind of like lagging behind the challenge. You can always risk an asset. Actually, I'll draw the challenge first, and then I'll get into the mechanics of it. Right. So I drew a 2 of spades, which is a pretty low number.
And that is 12, 13, 14 is the number to beat.
So 2 of spades is oops, looking at the wrong table. 2 of spades. Something breaks and requires urgent repairs.
I think I have a thought, but I want to hear if you've got an idea.
I don't have an immediate idea, so go ahead.
I think our flying machine starts to like. I think that we I think we fully transition out of the sketchbook into something else, and I think like in doing so, like our we transition into like a different painting, and our flying machine is like breaking down, and it is breaking down with us like in the sky, and we are like kind of plummeting.
I was going to explain what the the risk procedure is, but I suspect we won't be needing it. So let's just go ahead, and if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. Yeah.
So I will draw a card. I'm thinking I only got to get a 4 or better. Yeah, I'm going to draw a card. That's an 8. That's the 8 of diamonds. So nice. I'm doing good. I don't have to sacrifice an asset, and I'm ahead of the challenge.
Cool. I'm on 13, so I only need 1, so that's easy. But interesting.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Incredible. I drew an 8, which makes my total 21.
which means that some of your stack is 21, which means that I'm guessing it's both of us are going to reach home at the end of this challenge.
Yeah. We are all at the end of this challenge. We are all going to be safe home.
Okay, I like that. I love it.
Why don't you go first? Like, how do we fix the falling gyrocopter?
I think I have a thought that now that we know that we're getting home, I think that we don't repair. I think that it's we kind of look at it and like we're collapsing, and what I want to propose is that perhaps what we run in, like perhaps the decision that we have to make, I think maybe even Bracer kind of grabs Shay by the shoulders and is like, we gotta jump. Like we gotta go. Like I know that you can do, like we've only got a few seconds. You need to open this gate, and we need to make a jump.
Yeah. I think
the asset that I am using here is admittedly a silver tongue that encourages people to act against their interests.
Yeah, this is a weird way to end the thing, but I think I think I stole Kieran's coin. And as much as like the sigils are important, I think the key thing here was the coin. That is like the thing that like powers this whole ability to like leap between the painted world. And I think I'm gonna jump and like start opening a portal back out, right? But I'm gonna try and like grab Kieran as before as we are like heading out, right? and I think this is it, right? If this is the ending, I think this has to succeed.
Yeah, I think we leap out of the painting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that you're able to you kind of open it, you grab. I'm gonna ask, say, do you feel like you successfully grab Kieran and pull him out as well?
I think so. I think Shay definitely wants to. Yeah. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that feels good. I think the three of us kind of come tumbling out, and we fall out in like a different museum in a different part of the world, and are just like just beaten to hell, and like I think over it, but like we are at least like outside of the painting scape.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens next?
Yeah. So usually once you reach home, because I hit 21, we reach home. The journey ends like early, right? Safely. And we skip the reflection phase, and instead we describe what we do when we reach home, what we eat, what we see, where we go. And if anyone had been lost, we also describe what we do with their memory or their remains, right?
Yeah.
And also focus on like any one aspect of home that meant the most to us, like now that we've reached home.
Yeah.
I think that I would like to have it that like we are out safe, and I think to kind of like add a little bit to retcon a little bit. I think when we pulled Kieran out, he was in danger, right?
Yeah.
Something was happening with the paintings. Da Vinci never painted like weird monsters, right?
Yeah.
It's been I think we bled through to like other like Renaissance paintings.
Yeah, that feels good. That feels good.
Like suddenly there's like angels and demons all over the place. And it's like, oh fuck, this is like way too dangerous. This is like something is like really weird. And we managed to like pull Kieran out of like danger before he gets himself killed. And so we like tumble out into like this like quiet sunlit museum. Yep. maybe not in the museum proper, it's like the back rooms, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm glad to be alive and to be out. But now I'm worried. I'm worried about who else is like stuck inside, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't a calmed, triumphant return. This is like we are out, but at some point I think we'll have to go back in, right?
So I want to what I want to do, I want to invert the returning home questions a little bit. I want to say, like, we get out. Where do we find Shay and Bracer? Like, what's the scene that we see them unfolding when Kieran comes and like collects us for the next, like, the job of we have to go back and get everyone else out?
I think Shay has been doing research, right? She's been trying to find like any clue like in like paintings. She's been visiting museums, right? And like finding paintings where like, hey, something changed, something is different, right? That might be a clue to like where our other friends are. Like maybe a shoe that's out of place, right? Or I was just thinking if we're doing Da Vinci, right? Like in the Last Supper, was that him? No,
I think so. Hold on, I'm actually going to look this up. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. In the Last Supper, someone in the background is wearing a t-shirt. You know.
Yep.
You know that.
I here's the thing. Aaron, I can't tell you how much I love that exact trope in anything that is time travel or sci-fi or weird world hopping. When something is, there's just that one incongruous detail. So I'm so happy that you have pitched that, and I think that you find that one person in a t-shirt all the way in the back that like has just not been seen before, or that there isn't that record of, but you spot it. You spot it because you've been poring over these things.
Yeah. And that's changed the relationship to Kieran and to Bracer as well, right? Like now we are no longer thieves, right? This isn't just about personal enrichment or like a weird vendetta. This is about saving our friends. And like the hideout is lonely, right? No one plays Mario Kart anymore. Like it becomes purpose driven. Yeah. A little bit colder, you know?
Yeah. I think that I thought of something that I'm going with, and I'm giving us a big closing note. I think that Kieran and Shay find Bracer, like we're in that arcade, right? We're on that boardwalk. There are games and people, and I think that like I don't think he looks happy is the thing. He's at a pinball table and he looks miserable. Like he's aggressively, and like I think it's the exact same pinball table from the hangout. And he can't, and we saw the score in the hangout, and he can't get to that score, like in this arcade at the boardwalk. He's trying, and he's just miserable. You can see that his hands are like kind of callous, like he's been doing this for hours. And I think the two of you show up, and I don't think that you even have to say anything before he goes, kind of just leans back. He's like, all right, we go in, we get everybody out. And then maybe, I think he pauses for a second. Then maybe I can have a clear enough mind to where I can actually get the damn multi-ball. I'm like, all right, I'm in. And I think like the two of you walk away, and he pauses for a moment, and he looks, and he grabs that letter that's kept close to his heart, and he looks at it, and he opens it. And it is a letter from somebody else in the gang. We'll call them Marquis. And it's a letter from Marquis, and it says, it just like marks out like the meeting place is the loading dock. I will have the money. You and I are gonna get through this okay. And I think he pauses for a second. He's like, I'm gonna make this right. I'm not going to leave. I'm not gonna. I let everyone down. I betrayed everyone once. I'm not doing this again.
Aw, amazing.
Yeah, and I think that we end with our three characters like walking back towards a Da Vinci painting to jump back in, which is a hell of a good place to end.
Yeah.
Oh, this game ruled. This game's great. This game is cool.
Yeah, I think we didn't. It's weird. Like you know, sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes you hit blackjack.
Sometimes you hit blackjack.
Yeah.
I will say, even though we only like did a few challenges, like the new prompts, the Lonesome Wind prompts are so cool. Like every time we pulled up a prompt, every time I heard you read a prompt, like I was here in my chair, like fist pumping, because I was like, this is like they so immediately like got my wheels turning, and they so immediately like they were so immediately evocative, and like they painted such a picture that like they're sick as hell, and I'm super happy. The flow of the game is cool. I love there's so much that I like about it.
Yeah, thanks. So that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to update the game, right? Because like this is one of the earlier games that I made, and I wasn't really good at like writing prompts back then. Now that I've had a bit more experience writing prompts, I'm going back in and like I'm adding like, expanding from, I think previously it only looked at like the suits or the ranks, and I'm just doing like one for every card available. So it's almost double, triple the number of original prompts. So I'm glad that you enjoyed them, because like, yeah, I feel like I've gotten a bit better at writing them since I first like started this game. So yeah.
It's great. They're fantastic. They're cool as hell.
God, I want to like do more in this like setting, right? Like
I do too. Like this is so fun. This is so cool that like I'm like, yeah, I gotta know how this second job plays out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, this was so cool, Aaron. Thank you so much for coming and playing this with me. This is the highlight of my night.
No, thank you for like bringing the energy and like the creativity as well. All right, like it's my favorite thing in the world is like playing with like someone else and like seeing like what they bring, and being surprised and delighted by that. So thank you, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. Like this, that is you and I are very much the same in that respect. There's a reason that the show has gone on for 7 years, and it is because I never get tired of that exact experience. So again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Before we wrap up, where can people find you, your work, and Ithaca in the Cards online?
Yeah, right. So you can find me on Twitter and like most social media as at Aaron Lime, EHRONLIME. You can find my work at aaronlime.itch.io. Ithaca in the Cards is on there as well. At least the older version of it. Look out for the new update once I'm done with that. And I also have a newsletter where I if you want to keep up with like stuff that I am working on behind the scenes, that's at perfect-whole.ghost.io. I haven't really spoken about Ithaca. I probably need to write a little bit about that soon. But like for like my unreleased work in progress stuff, that's where you can find that.
This game rips. I am also briefly going to shout something else out because it is my show and I am allowed to do that. I want to give a brief shout out because while I have you on mic, sometimes I get to do this and it's great. I just want to give a shout out and say that An Altogether Different River, which is a game that you have written about returning to town and seeing how it has changed from the eyes of somebody that has stayed in the eyes of someone that has left, is an absolutely beautiful game that I truly like love reading and thinking about, and like I want to play real bad. So I just wanted to put that on mic and say it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, like maybe one day we can play that together.
I think we can. I think we can make that happen. But again, thank you so much for doing the show. This was an absolute delight. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me, and thanks again to Aaron for coming onto the show. That game was. God, that was so cool, and, like, it was the kind of game and the kind of session that, like, we hit the end, and I was like, can we just go for another couple hours? Like, I would love to keep playing in this world with these characters. I had the best time imaginable. Be sure to head to Aaron Lime, that's EHRONLIME.itch.io, or check the show notes for a link to Ithaca in the Cards, as well as the Spectres of Brocken Kickstarter, which is currently running. And be sure to follow Aaron on Twitter at Aaron Lime. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. Join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. We're starting some live listens of episodes soon. That should be very fun. But you can also talk to us about the show or wrestling or gritty or whatever you want to talk about. And if you really enjoyed the show, consider backing us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. Or tell a friend about the show, leave us a review on Spotify or Podchaser or iTunes, or just, say that you like the show on social media. It brightens my day. Once you've done one or more of those things, if you're looking for another podcast to enjoy, check out All My Fantasy Children. It's a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast on the One Shot Podcast Network, where my best friend Aaron Catano-Saez and I take a listener-submitted prompt. We spin it into an original fantasy character, and we populate a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday-ish at oneshotpodcast.com. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.